If you're a big swim team and you like to order a lot of gear, maybe you ought to check out Swim Outlet Team Division for these reasons. Swim teams receive a 10% discount on bulk orders. Swim teams or organizations get an 8% commission on referred sales. You'll also like their customization services, which is affordable and available at all times during the year for all team gear. With over 50,000 items in stock, you can get most anything you want. Swim Outlet Team Division. You need to try it out. You'll be glad you did.
This is the Morning Swim Show for Wednesday, February 26, 2014. I'm your host, Jeff Commings. Today is the start of the Pac-12's Women's Swimming Championships, as well as the Men's and Women's Pac-12 Diving Championships in Federal Way, Washington. Recent events have made this meet very interesting, especially that dual meet that was just 2 weeks ago between Cal and Stanford. And joining me today in the Finis Monitor will be Swimming World contributor David Rieder, who will help me analyze what we're going to see this week in the women's meet. And he joins us right now on Skype from Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina. Dave, it's good to see you. How are you?
Good to see you too, Jeff. I'm doing well. Good to be here.
Well, 3 weeks ago I would have said Cal women win this meet handily, no problem. But then we had that dual meet 2 weeks ago where, the annual Bay Area rivalry, and Stanford just took over and just pretty much dominated that meet. Do you think in light of that this is going to be a pretty close team race?
I think this is going to be a really close team race, and I don't think it's just Cal and Stanford. I think Cal is up there, I think Stanford is up there, and I think USC has really good swimmers in almost every event. And I'm actually going to predict that they win this meet, and then Stanford gets second and Cal third. And that's surprising because, like you, I expected that Cal was going to be the class of the class of college swimming this year. But beyond their superstars, and they have superstars, they don't have a ton of depth. And again, that's not going to show up in scores in a conference meet or a national meet as much as it might in a dual meet. But I'm not really liking what I see from Cal, aside from the backstroke, the freestyle events, or the short freestyle events, that is. And I don't know if they can get higher than third.
Wow, that's very interesting, David. I had a feeling USC would be up there, but I would have never have said they're going to win this meet. So what is it about USC? What do they have on their roster that is going to get them ahead of Stanford and Cal?
I just see someone in almost every event. You take a look at the, let's start with the sprint butterfly events. You have someone like Kendall Stewart. You have Andrea Kropp in the breaststrokes and Casey Carlson, who's the top swimmer in the Pac-12 in the 100 breaststroke and one of the top in the country, which should be no surprise from someone who's been on the World Championship team before. You have Jasmine Toski, Stina Gardell, Chelsea Chenot, and Megan Hawthorne. You just have someone who can swim almost any event. And while their sprint freestyles might not be at the level of Cal or Stanford, it's just having someone there in every event is going to give them a chance to win this meet.
Well, I think maybe if USC has a little bit of weakness, maybe it is in that distance freestyle. I mean, Chelsea Chenot can do the 500, but I don't really think they have anybody that they had last year, like Haley Anderson, who can swim the mile very well. So I think if there's going to be anything that's going to keep them out of that top spot, I think it just might be, well, I mean, the 1650 is just one event, but,
Right.
Every event counts, especially if you're saying this meet's going to be as close as you say.
Yeah, I think it will be close, but the thing is, in the Pac-12, there's not a distance powerhouse, and really anyone could sneak in and win it. I mean, if you're looking at the top distance swimmers, you got to look at, for distance swimmers from the top schools, I should say, you got to look at Catherine Breed from up at Cal. But, there's not a whole, that's not the strongest event in the Pac-12, and I really, and like you said, just one event, there's no 1,000, and so if USC can have a strong enough presence in the 200 and 500, might be all right come those longer distances.
So one event that I'm actually looking forward to for this women's meet is the 100 backstroke. Now, we talk about all season how great Cal is in the backstroke. They've got Rachel Bootsma. They've got Cindy Tran. If they want, they could put Missy Franklin and Elizabeth Pelton in it. But I think the spoiler here could be Felicia Lee. She has been so good all season. Now, she's already got all of her NCAA cuts. She did that in November, but I think maybe Greg Meehan is seeing how close this meet's going to be, and Stanford's going to be pretty rested. And I think Felicia is just riding a great wave of momentum that could really give her some confidence coming in this meet. She might get her hand on the wall first in this 100 backstroke.
Yeah, no question. Felicia Lee's senior year, she's been through injuries and disappointing seasons, good seasons, and it'd be great to see her go out with a really nice swim. I don't know though. That 100 back, if you had asked me 6 months ago what to expect, I would have said, well, Cal has four swimmers that are arguably the best in the country in Tran, Bootsma, Pelton, and Franklin. And I would certainly see them going 1-2 at Pac-12s, if not at NCAAs. But now you're right; it's definitely become a lot more wide open, and I'm really not sure how it's all gonna shake out. And Kendall Stewart from USC could also make an appearance, and you've got Bonnie Brandon from Arizona, even though she might be more of a 200 backstroker. But certainly one of the better events of the weekend in Washington. And I agree with you. I don't think Missy Franklin or Elizabeth Pelton is going to swim the 100 backstroke. I think they are, especially in short course, just as good in the 200 free, and I think that Terry McKeever is going to stick them in that event, as well as the 2 back on Saturday. But just even though those were the 2 that represented the U.S. at the World last summer, I don't see them swimming the 100 back this weekend or at NCAAs.
Something that is going to be very interesting has been the question all season that no one has been able to answer is, what will Missy Franklin swim? And we're getting closer and closer to that. We're taping this show on Tuesday afternoon, and we haven't seen the Sykes heats publicly released, so we don't really know yet. I mean, Missy has got 8 cuts, I believe, in 5 events: a 500 free, 200 free, 100 back, 200 back, 100 free. So her options are still wide open. It's not to say that what she swims at Pac-12 is what she's going to swim in NCAAs, but I think, personally, I think if Terry wants to maximize the point potential for Missy Franklin, she puts her in the 500 the first day, the 200 free the second day, and the 100 free the third day, because especially since Cal doesn't really have those 100 freestylers on that third day, and they've got a 200 backstroker. They've got Elizabeth Pelton. They're okay in that event. They've got a kind of a 200 flyer. They've got kind of their breaststroker, but they don't really have a solid 100 freestyler that can get them top 3 points. So it's kind of weird to say we're not going to see Missy Franklin swimming backstroke at a championship meet, but I think that's where Cal needs her the most.
I did not see. I had not thought of that one, Jeff. That's really interesting. I expect that at NCAA she'll probably swim the 200 backstroke, but you're right. At Pac-12s, there really isn't someone Cal can just plug in there. God, the 100 free is going to be tough though, with someone like with Maddie Schaefer, with Margot Gear. That's one of the more competitive events, and certainly, this is a tough one. And but the 200 back is no lock for her to win either with Pelton. But even though I think Cal certainly is going to take that event, but you're right. This is an interesting one. As for the 500, I do think she's going to swim it. She had the top time in the country going into last weekend's conference championships meets, and now it's Leah Smith from Virginia who beat her time. But Missy certainly with the potential to win that event at NCAAs her freshman year. And another event I look at as a possibility is the 200 IM. She has not swum IM the past couple of years. It was something she did a little bit more earlier in high school, but again, very tough to win. And if you're looking to maximize points at this meet, certainly the 500 is the win with the likes of Maya Dorado in the IM. But it's an option for Terry McKeever, even though I don't think she'll go that way.
Yeah, and maybe next year, Missy's second year, which will be her last year swimming in college, maybe she goes all backstroke. I don't know what what the talk has been. Maybe they've had that talk. First year you do a lot of freestyle, and it'll translate to her international swimming this year. And then, the next year, I mean, her backstroke's always going to be there. So her not, putting a focus on backstroke, I don't think it's really going to hurt her. She'll have, 3 months after NCAAs to get ready for the summer swimming. But I agree with you. I kind of felt like Terry McKeever when I'm thinking, what should Missy swim? And that third day is always up in the air. I mean, she's got the 100 free, and she's got the 200 back that she could do very well. So it's just all a matter of points. And like I said, the Pac-12 could be kind of a test for that. I mean, if we see her swimming the 100 freestyle, I think this is Terry's way of saying, yeah, this is what she's going to swim. Or maybe she's just going to psych us out and say, yeah, you thought she was going to swim the 100, but she's going to do the 200 back in NCAAs. Yeah,
it's interesting because Missy's by no means, a drop-dead sprinter. In a lot of 100 free races, we've seen her coming back on the back half like we saw at the World Championships. And so I'll be interested to see how she performs if she does swim the 100 free, because that event in short course yards is often dominated by the sprinters, the Margot Gears of the world. And so it'll be interesting to see what she does. I have no idea. You got me there, Jeff.
Well, that's good. I've stumped David Rieder. I know you're not easy to stump. Somebody else we should be looking out for in that 100 free is Leah Neal of Stanford. She's a freshman as well. The first half of the season, she wasn't doing that well. I think she was just kind of getting adjusted to college life and everything like that. And then in November, she started swimming very well, and she's been pretty consistent ever since then. So we shouldn't count her out. And I'm really anxious to see how she's going to do, especially in that 200 freestyle, which was kind of an event that we saw potential for her in when she was much younger, more so than the 50 has been for her. So, we know she didn't have a great 2013. So I guess in the back of my mind, I'm thinking she's really hungry to kind of prove to herself that, she is still someone to be reckoned with.
Yeah, that's right. The resident Olympian over at Stanford, who swam on the 400 free relay, I think in finals at the Olympics. She's got to be one to watch. Her 100's her best event, and I don't know how I forgot her in that discussion. And she's probably got to be certainly among the favorites headed into the meet. 200 free, again, she's been inconsistent in that. She's been 158 long course, but certainly hasn't been near that since 2011, I want to say. So we'll have to wait and see, but certainly, at the very least, a big boost to Stanford's relays in their hopes of winning the meet, which, as we discussed earlier, a very legitimate possibility. And I'd say she could be probably their key, really, in all those events because of how key she is on relays.
Well, I want to go back to USC, which I'm still shocked that you picked them to win Pac-12s. One reason I didn't pick them to win is because really in December at the Texas Invite, they put up a lot of their A-cuts. And as we saw last week at the SEC meet with Texas A&M, they didn't put all their top swimmers into a big rest, Bria Larson being the big exception, and Camille Adams to kind of a degree. But everybody else pretty much was just, I wouldn't say swimming through the meet, but they just kind of did what was necessary, and they're looking for the NCAAs. I think maybe Dave Sele was saying, well, maybe we do have a shot at this, but like everybody says, the NCAAs is the end goal. So I think if USC gets third, I think it's just a matter of Dave saying, we're just going to wait until the end of March to make our point.
Well, I agree with you, but it could also be a matter of Cal and Stanford are just that good and it's just that close. But you're right. I could look like a complete fool picking USC. For some reason, I think they're going to be high up enough in all of the events to really make contenders. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's a bold pick to make, David, and we like to see bold picks. So don't be afraid of it. I just wasn't being as bold as you were. That's all.
Yeah, I've made some pretty straight to the book predictions before, but I guess I'm going out on a limb this time.
That's all right. We love to see that. We'll see how it all shakes out later on this week. So thanks, David. How about we do this tomorrow for the men's Pac-12s?
Sounds good, Jeff. Looking forward to it.
All right. See you then. So that's going to do it for today's edition of the Morning Swim Show. As I said, David and I are going to be back tomorrow because we're going to analyze all the names, all the races, all the teams that you should be looking out for at next week's Pac-12 Men's Swimming Championships. It's going to be a very exciting meet. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. I'm Jeff Commings. Thanks for watching.